Greetings, all you wizards out there. I'm Duuz-Diz-Din back with another fairy tale 100 Years Quest chapter review. This time is chapter 15 titled Dyed White. Our cover page this time around is a nice reference to New Year's, where we see Urza and Jalal praying at a shrine for a happy new year. That that annual shrine visit that goes on in Japan, where you pray for prosperity, certain things that you want for the coming new year. So hey, how about telling me what your New Year's wish is in the comment section below? But into the main meat of the overall chapter, we pick up where we left off last time, with Jalal being confronted by a devious-looking Toka, the White Witch. He inquires as to why Toka is targeting Fairy Tail specifically, why she seems to have joined up with them, and her simple response is, they've grown too strong. That much powerful magical ability, that's too much power. It violates what she calls the Creed of White. Which, honestly, I find this fascinating, because there's a lot of beliefs and thought patterns that go into this character, Toka the White Witch. How she feels that too much power, this much magical power, can lead to nothing but bad things. This is proof by Zeref in and of itself, who had a massive amount of magical power, and even accumulated a gathering of magical forces that ended up just raging out of control. Even when Zeref himself wasn't involved with a story, his magical creations, the Etherias, his demons from the Book of Zeref, ended up having massive influence since damn near the first story arc of Fairy Tail. The first major Fairy Tail story arc, when you're dealing with, what was it, the Lullaby Flute? Zeref, so he's had this, influence in the world, the magical community, since one of the very first story arcs of the series. So, and that just came from his magical powers and abilities. So, she has decided to take away the magical powers of various overly powerful beings, because she feels that the gathering of too great of magical power all in one setting, just cannot be allowed anymore, to avoid another Zeref coming into existence. So she promptly starts sucking in Jalal's magical essence. And this is a pretty cool scene, because it's a very tense moment too, because it looks like, well, how's Jalal gonna escape from this? And her statement is like, with this she will dye the world in white, which is just very interesting. But suddenly her connection is cut off, seemingly by some outside force. And the next thing you know, she's calling out to Jalal to run away before the thing inside her comes out again, showing that it's actual multiple personalities. On one side we have the White Witch, and on the other side we have Toka, showing that they are two mutually exclusive beings sharing the same body. But before anything further can develop, in comes Gajeel of all people, tackling Toka to the ground like, "You're under arrest! This is the police!" And, Juvia, Levy, and Panther Lively all come in following behind him, with Levy just being shocked that it's just like, what, Jalal was right? But it's just like, he followed his nose. He's got a real nose for investigation. And, it was obvious. If you look close enough, you could tell that something was not quite right. So, now they have to figure out what exactly is going on with this person, Toka the White Witch. Which, honestly, I'm still more invested in that situation than what's going on back with, Team Natsu and the guild that they're fighting, the Diablo guild, because it's just like, it's fun and all. I do love Fairy Tail's action and all that, and I want to set those records straight. That it's just like, I don't hate Fairy Tail, but I feel like time and time again it doesn't live up to its fullest potential. Like when we cut back to the battle with Urza and Kyrie, where they're going at it, they're clashing hard. But it becomes fairly obvious that Kyrie still holds the upper hand, even snapping Urza's blade in two, saying just like, there's nothing I can't cut. So it's nice to see that, that gap in ability hasn't shifted so much. But then, and I wish she hadn't said this statement, Urza starts talking about the bonds with her friends and forms what looks like a beam sword out of the broken hilt of her sword. And I'm just like, no, you cannot bring the power of friendship into actual manifestation. But thankfully she says that Wendy had enchanted her sword with so that she might be able to better face off against dragons, since it was a dragon extermination job. And considering that Urza's mother, spoiler alert, from the very final story arc from Fairy Tail, was in fact a dragon slayer, one of the very first dragon slayers, and a dragon in and of herself because of her dragon slayer magic. She went up against her mother Irene, and she was very much overpowered by her mother in a lot of ways. So this enchantment, it makes sense. It's like she had the forethought to be like, okay, I've gone up against a dragon before. It was a very hard fought battle. I need something that would give me the edge against someone with dragon abilities. So this makes sense, and it's not that much of an asshole, but at the same time it's just kind of like, you're skirting the edges of it. But she calls upon the dragon destroying sword Baserion, and she will test how well it cuts against Kyrie, who looks very taken aback by this. So we might see it have this great ability, but it's just like, I don't know, because it's just like, it's cool. I can't deny it's cool, but at the same time, it's just like there was no setup beforehand, and all that good stuff. So it's just like, I don't want to be too critical about this series, because I do love Fairy Tail. I love Hiro Mashima and all that. Not Hiro Mashima. Hiro Mashima. And all that he does. So I'm just going to suck it up and stop being such a whiny little bitch about this. But then we get back to Wendy and Natsu facing off against the Scullier Raider and Mad Moral. And once again, as Wendy continues to blow away the Scullion Raider's Ash abilities, keeping him from going in for the attack, Mad Moral and Natsu clash once again, with Natsu once again still being overpowered by the sheer toughness of Mad Moral, it completely jacking up Natsu's fists. But Natsu's flames have gotten to a point where they're just so intense, so he just starts letting Mad Moral have it, going into overburn, seeing who's stronger, Mad Moral's defenses or Natsu's offensive ability. And he just decimates Mad Moral with an ability called Fire Dragon King's Purgatory. So he just lights up Mad Moral, burning him to a cinder. So it's just like, why didn't you do this the first time you guys faced off? Why did it take a rematch? No, stop being so overcritical. My God, I just want to have fun with this. I know I'm reviewing and trying to actually state my opinion, but at the same time, I love Mashima's work. I love Fairy Tail, I loved Rave Master, I have a good history with this series, and the cynicisms of the fan community has just gotten to me, and I'm just too critical about this series, and this is just a follow-up series, so I just should have fun with it. I got through the main series, and I wanted a little more meat, but this is just a side story, just as a aside if you wanted to see the 100-year quest. So I'm just gonna stop being so overly serious about this series. But hey, tell me your thoughts on this chapter in the comment section below. How did you feel about Toka the White, which was honestly my favorite part of this? Or are you more invested in the fight between the Diablos Guild and the Fairy Tale Guild? Because it is interesting to see Dragon Eaters, going up against Dragon Slayers and the various people who took down the forces of Zareth, but it wanes in interest for me because it feels like we're going through similar patterns that we always seem to go with this writing. But tell me, do you have the same kind of issues that I do, or are you able to look past a lot of what I keep griping about? But if you liked this video, feel free to leave me a like, and if you didn't like this video or my incessant griping about fairy tales, at times formulaic situations in terms of how they defeat the villains, feel free to leave me a dislike and tell me what I'm doing wrong in the comment section below so that I might better myself for future videos. But until then, hey, feel free to subscribe for more chapters of Fairy Tale, the 100-Year Quest. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.